Hi, in this video I'll be ranking all of Universal Studio Hollywood's attractions. That includes the rides and shows. In Universal Studio Hollywood, there are four shows: the Ollivander Wand Experience, the Frog Choir, Triwizard Tournament Dance Thing, the Nighttime Projections on the Hogwarts Castle, and Waterworld. Coming in at last, the Ollivander's Wand Selection Show is last for many reasons. If you're not the person chosen for the wand, which is usually the case unless if you're a small kid, this show is pretty boring. A few effects here and there, but that's about it. It's basically the scene from Harry Potter where Harry Potter gets his wand. Coming in number 3 are the two shows that goes on during the day in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter: the Frog Choir and the Triwizard Spirit Rally. These two shows are located right before the entrance of Hogwarts Castle, creating huge bottleneck when there's a show. On top of that, these shows are pretty plain. For a theme park that has much better shows, this show was a letdown. I really hope that Universal will change this in the future. Coming in number 2, unfortunately, is not a permanent show. This show only shows during special events such as Christmas. The Nights and Projections on the Hogwarts Castle is an amazing show. This is a projection show at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It also contains pyrotechnics, and this year they included drones for the Dark Arts projection. The realistic projections is what makes the show so good. And finally, the best show in the theme park is definitely Waterworld. Located at the front of the park, many first timers miss this. This is a show that you would expect from Universal, a combination of stunts, water effects, and pyrotechnics. Coming from a movie that most haven't even heard about, the show really shows that an attraction doesn't need its IP to carry it, and this is what we need. This show is thrilling, fun, and great for everyone. It's a must do if it's your first time visiting. Now, onto the rides. Coming in at last place is a Swirl Flat Ride. This is the only flat ride at Universal Studio Hollywood, located in a super silly funland by the Despicable Me Minion Mayhem ride. This ride is just a standard flat ride. It does provide a great view, and the line for this ride is never long. Next, we have the Kung Fu Panda Emperor's Quest. The Kung Fu Panda Emperor Quest is a theater-like attraction where guests first enters the pre-show room, then into the theater. Unlike typical theaters, this attraction features 40 elements such as moving seats, water, and wind. The most impressive part of this attraction is the implementation of projections. This is prominent at the end of the attraction where the sides of the theater seamlessly gets changed into part of the screen. This attraction usually have a low wait time, even on busy days, and is a great attraction to escape the heat. Next, we have one of the two coasters in the park, Flight of the Hippogriff. The length of this ride and thrill isn't enough for it to be placed any higher. However, this is a great junior coaster and provides a fantastic view of the park and the Wizarding World. This ride can get long during the middle of the day, and I recommend not riding it if it's over 25 minutes long. Number 9, we have Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. Despicable Me Minion Mayhem is a motion simulator that features a storyline, in my opinion, aged too much. With the new Despicable Me movies not focusing more on the minions as much, or the origins of the minions, this ride feels out of place. The motion of this attraction is also not very intense compared to other attractions in the theme park. Also, comparing to other recent attractions at Universal, the theming is quite bland, with the queue just being a lot of bars and TV screens. However, I do think the theming outside the facade and the pre-show rooms are pretty nice. I think Despicable Me Mini Mayhem is definitely in need of a major rework, changing its ride system, ride, story, and overall theming. This attraction usually has a good weight to it, since it's popular with kids. Similar to Despicable Me Mini Mayhem, The Simpsons ride is also a motion simulator. One major difference is that The Simpsons is a lot more intense compared to Despicable Me. Along with the intensity, the inclusion of Springfield and the impressive outside facade makes this attraction look more aesthetically pleasing. The ride, however, is also outdated. The animation feels choppy and outdated, which, considering that it's a 2008 attraction, I guess it's fine. However, For a universal quality standard, it's seemingly worn down over the years. It also looks like Universal Studios Hollywood don't seem to be maintaining the ride as much anymore. Over the years, I've noticed more features being less and less prominent. A lot more ride vehicles tend to stop working, and some days, one of the two theaters don't work at all, which means the wait time for this ride is always super long. Just like Despicable Me Mini Mayhem, the inside queue theming is just bars and a lot of TVs. With this being said, I think Universal will be shutting down The Simpsons pretty soon, with its licensing now being owned by Disney and its relevancy being very little. It's a good idea for Universal to put down this attraction for something even better. Coming in next, we have The Secret Life of Pets Off the Leash. The Secret Life of Pets Off the Leash is a slow-moving dark ride that opened in 2019. Right across from Despicable Me Mania Mayhem, The Secret Life of Pets Off the Leash is a well-themed, slow-moving dark ride that is great for kids. The theming from outside of the queue to inside of the ride is all very consistent and impressive. Considering how small of an area the ride occupies, the ride really packs a lot. With lots of animatronics and very little screens, the ride redefines Universal's overuse of screens in their attractions. This attraction, however, seems to always have a very long wait time, so I'd recommend riding this early on in the day. Next, we have the first ride in the list from the lower lot, Transformers The Ride 3D. This is also a motion simulator, however, it's on a track, meaning that it moves from scene to scene. This ride features more physical scenes compared to the previous motion simulators mentioned. And out of the three, so far, this is the most intense one. The queue is relatively well themed compared to the other two motion simulators I've mentioned, and the ride is also more themed. This ride also has a much more compelling story than the other two. With the ride being located in the lower lot, it usually has a long wait time. Now we're at the top 5. At number 5, we have the infamous Studio Tour. The Studio Tour is the very first attraction that opened at Universal Studios Hollywood, which brought the studio where it is today. On the tour, you get to visit the studio where your favorite motion pictures are made. You also get to experience attractions such as King Kong, Jaws, Earthquake, and Fast and the Furious. On top of that, you are able to go through movie sets such as the plane crash from War of the Worlds and the Nope set. This attraction is very unique, for it's the only one in the world. The studio tour tends to get a long wait time during the middle of the day, but it's must do if it's your first time visiting Universal. And for all you Super Bowl fans out there, the State Farm ad with Arnold Schwarzenegger was filmed on the Universal backlot. Number 4, we have the newest ride at Universal Studios Hollywood, Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. Opened early 2023, this ride is the first in the park to use AR, along with physical sets to immerse riders. Doubling as a game, this ride is a perfect fit into the theme park. The immaculate theming of Super Nintendo World alongside with this technological ride makes this in the top 5 rides in the theme park. The ride and land is by far the most themed place in Universal, topping that of the Wizarding World. The interactive power bands just makes this place so much more immersive. However, the downside of this ride is the atrocious wait times that this ride constantly have. It's always over an hour long. On top of the wait time, the connection of the power band to the ride doesn't always work. It's always a 50-50. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. This factor makes it not in the top 3, and I hope Universal fixes it soon. Coming in at number 3, we have one of the best dark rides in the theme park. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey is a must ride when visiting the park. It is the best motion simulator in the park, with a combination of screens and very impressive physical sets. This ride surpasses all the other motion simulators in the park. With the Kuko robotic arm technology, the movement is very dynamic, with multiple scenes having the rider very close to physical elements. The queue for this attraction is also one of the best, with you being able to traverse through the Hogwarts castle. This is by far my favorite dark ride in the world. The wait time could get very long, however, so I would advise getting to this ride early in the day. Coming in at number 2 is the other coaster in the park, Revenge of the Mummy. Revenge of the Mummy is the most intense ride in the park, and me personally, I like thrill. And although this is an old ride, the theming is on par to the more recent rides, when compared to Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem, and The Simpsons ride. This coaster starts off as a dark ride, then plummets you into the darkness at high speeds up to 45 miles per hour. The coaster also accelerates backwards, which ends the ride. The ride is very short and just clocks in under 3 minutes long, which is quite sad, but the thrill and theming makes up for it, which is why this ride makes number 2. And in first place, Jurassic World The Ride, opening in 2018, is a re-theme of Jurassic Park The Ride, and it's still the only water ride in the park. This ride features incredible animatronics like the Indominus Rex and T-Rex right before the drop. However, they did replace some animatronics from Jurassic Park with screens, which makes this a downgrade compared to the predecessor. But every other element of this ride just is way much better than Jurassic Park The Ride, which makes this the best in the park. You really have to experience this for yourself. And that is my ranking of every attraction at Universal Studios Hollywood. Thanks for watching.